Hello, everyone. My name is David Talby. I'm the CTO of Johnson Labs. And what I would like to talk to you about now is how we can help you build NLP and AI applications and take them to market really as quickly and as efficiently as possible in the healthcare space. So when we talk about an NLP platform, or really a set of tools for you to go and build those solutions or applications, there are two kinds of really promises we make you and ways we help you. One of them is the foundation. So a platform needs a reason for people to be on it. So people did not start writing iPhone applications because they like the development environment. They did it because the iPhone was a great device and a very popular platform to begin with. So we want to make sure that the foundation is there and is right. And on top of it, you need to have really strong tools for people to go and build their solutions quickly and much faster than before, still in the correct way. So those are the kind of things that we focus on. And I want to talk first of all about really our promises and our progress on making sure that we have a really strong foundation for the open source community, for the healthcare industry to build on, and then talk about some of the really new tools and new solutions that enable you to use all of that, but really get to market and get to production much faster. So for us, really, the core of everything we do at Johnson Labs is the Spark NLP library. And in terms of adoption, I'm assuming what's here on the slide would all be familiar with you. Johnson Labs is really for over 3 years now. It's been the most widely used NLP library in the enterprise, especially within healthcare and life science. It's been kind of the library used by the majority of teams doing kind of real world and production work with clinical or biomedical NLP for quite some time. But one thing I'm happy to announce today is that as of last month, Spark NLP has also become the most just popular library for the Python ecosystem, specifically in terms of just downloads. So you can see here the numbers of the growth over the last year, and the numbers specifically from the latest time in March, where we could get numbers before recording this. And I would like to thank you and say that we at Johnson Labs really we appreciate the vote of confidence from the community, and you have our promise and our commitment to keep what we're doing, which is releasing new software every 2 weeks, which we've been doing for 4.5 years now, and really making sure we provide you state-of-the-art software, state-of-the-art models that is production grade, is secure, is natively scalable, is available across all the ecosystems you use, right? So cloud, on-prem, single machine, cluster, Python, Java, Scala, something you can train and tune on your own and start with what we have, and a library that supports everything you do, really from simple tokenization, lemmatization, part of speech tagging, to all the way to translation, question answering, semantic understanding of text. So that's Spark NLP. And some of the things that I'd like to call out that have made it easier to use recently are, first of all, the NLU library. The NLU, if you want to use it, just pip install NLU and import NLU within Python. And the goal here is to enable you to do basically almost everything with one line of code. So you have access to more than 5,000 pre-trained models that are all tested, current, production grade. And you can see some code examples on the screen. You can do name entity recognition, you can do question answering, you can do grammar detection and grammar correction. You can do text classification and fake news classification, all in one line of code. And we handle everything in the background, from downloading the right embeddings and models, optimizing in memory, and running the inference. This is all completely free and open source. You can, here in the examples, you can see you send strings, but you can also, if you send Python data frames, you get back Pandas data frames, or Spark data frames, or Ray data frames, whatever you send. So the scale is there as well. The other thing that we spend a lot of time working on is just making it very easy for people to learn and use and make the most of what's there. So and this is under nlp.johnsonlabs.com. There's a learning hub with, I don't know how many videos and articles are there right now, but it's categorized, so it's easier to find and search. and learn specific tasks. There's the NLP Models Hub. We can find each of those 5,000 models and more, and for each one of them, see a description, see code examples, see metrics, see what the data source is and other metadata, so to know when and how you should actually use it. And more than 300 public notebooks, Streamlit apps, so basically live demos and code starting points for you to use the library. So that's the first foundation. Having that community, and really the goal for Spark NLP and the commitment we take is really to be that community for practitioners, for people who do take NLP and put it in production. The second point I'd like to make, and this is really the thing we focus on the most when we think of what do we build next, which is make sure we provide you with state-of-the-art NLP. And what it means that we will not beat on accuracy, and we want to make sure that we always provide you with the really most accurate production-grade, scalable, and available software that's available to complete those tasks. And for us, state-of-the-art means something very specific. It means what this slide state. So many people kind of fudge the concepts or use it more as a marketing term. But for us, it's a very specific academic thing. It means we publish peer-reviewed papers that show best accuracy on actual competitive academic benchmarks. So, right, not a benchmark that we invented ourselves, but something that many other teams compete on. Once we get results, we publish the paper. We publish the code. You are welcome to reproduce the results on your own. We also provide free licenses for academic researchers so that people can validate and reproduce and improve on our results, because that's the community, how we make progress. And we also require that the software would actually be in production in multiple places. So when you see something, this is not a one-off that we did on one data set on one project, but we want to make sure that when we give you something, this is something we've actually tested and validated in multiple real-world data sets and places. So that is our bar for what we mean by state-of-the-art. Our biggest focus here is around Spark NLP for healthcare, our library for state-of-the-art clinical and biomedical NLP. And here also, I'm happy to announce a milestone here. We now have more than 600 pre-trained models that come with the software. And all of these are really our proprietary models, some of them based on data that we got from elsewhere, but some of them is based on data that our own team of medical doctors and pharmacists have created and labeled over the years. So Spark NLP for healthcare builds on top of Spark NLP, so you have all the benefits of GPU optimization, the ability to scale, the security, the ability to build unified pipelines for data integration, feature engineering, NLP pieces, and then downstream machine learning, deep learning, or validation, zero data sharing. And a lot of our academic focus in terms of peer-reviewed papers is in the healthcare NLP space. Just two examples to call out from the past 3 months is one paper around relation extraction, another one around automated mining of adverse drug reactions from unstructured text. And for both of them, this is public on Archive and on Papers with Code. This is public on our own website. But when we say state-of-the-art, I mean, you can go to Papers with Code. You can look at the specific benchmark. You can see how we rank. You can see how other papers that have competed on the same benchmarks rank. And of course, you can look at the code and rank yourself. So this is the bar. And right now, as of today, there are 20 benchmarks on clinical and biomedical NLP where we are the top most accurate provider. And of course, we will keep working to keep you there, right? Because of course, next year state-of-the-art is going to be better. And this year's software will be outdated, as it should. And our goal is to make sure we keep things up to date for you and improve and innovate further. So we spoke about community. We spoke about state-of-the-art accuracy. The third thing that we take care of for you and we take seriously is responsible AI. Because if you're serious about actually taking software to production, whether you helping patients, helping providers, developing new medications, is responsible AI. And we are already at the point where if you're doing anything with any regulatory, meaning this already applies to you. And even if you're not, you're at a very high risk in terms of legal risk, reputation risk, if you don't do those things right. So when you work with us, We are accountable for the accuracy because the models are ours, the software is ours, right? We have that ecosystem. We have medical doctors who look at things like fairness and equity. And as you know, in healthcare, it's not just men versus women, it's also stage 3 versus stage 4 cancer. How do you represent different comorbidities? Obviously, data and privacy governance, right, from the overall no sharing framework to making sure that vulnerabilities are scanned and corrected in a timely manner. And of course, just security and just robustness of the software itself, right? Where really you have the benefits of really millions of people and projects who use the code, validate it, and test it in multiple environments. So specifically on responsible AI, there are 3 things I like to call out that I think are interesting in terms of recent work we've done. One thing that I'm personally very proud of is that Johnson Lab has formally certified as a carbon neutral company. And this is not only going forward, we've actually done this since the beginning of the operating history of the company. So if you use Spark NLP, if you use our Healthcare NLP, OCR, anything from Johnson Labs, you can know that not just those products, but the company as a whole has not contributed at all to new carbon emissions. We have done a lot of work first to reduce and minimize going forward the carbon that we do emit. And then we have bought offsets for everything that just cannot be eliminated to support renewable energy projects and basically counter anything else that we do. So there's a lot of work, there's a lot of rightful concern in the NLP space around training large language models and burning CPU cycles. We would want to show that it does not have to be the case, and we can do this in a carbon neutral way. The second important thing that we have always done, and we proudly continue doing, is no data sharing. So the way you use our software is you take our software, you install it within your own infrastructure. It can be air-gapped. It does not even require an internet connection. You do not send anything to us, and you do not share any data with us. And we think that's the right way to do things. Many others will tell you that, yes, you have to share data with them, and they have to have some rights to use it as part of doing the work. And as part of being able to provide you with good accuracy. That is not true. We've been providing state-of-the-art accuracy for several years. You just don't need it. We don't think it's in your benefit to share your own proprietary data with others. It's in some cases it's illegal, but even if it's not, it's a risk in terms of security and privacy. It's a risk in terms of intellectual property, and it's a business practice that we do not support, and we'll keep leading this practice, which we believe is part of responsible AI. The third important piece that we always do and we always take care of is making sure that in every model, in every data science project, there is a medical doctor involved, a clinician involved. We have a sizable team of people who annotate data, label data, advise in clinical projects, participate in customer-facing projects. If and when you have data scientists who, and we see this often even in academic papers or case studies, data scientists just produce or announce results which are sometimes plain wrong, and it's a bit, it's a little bit like working in NLP and building a model in Japanese without having anyone who actually speaks the language on the team. It might work sometimes, but it might also be embarrassing sometimes. And in healthcare, embarrassing is really a euphemism for dangerous. So we do not do that. And we want to make sure that really we have clinical experts with the data science experts with the software as part of every project. We're happy to take any feedback or any questions you have. But say you do have a commitment here, just like you do with state-of-the-art accuracy, just like you do with supporting and growing the community. We will keep leading the way in terms of responsible AI and enable you to confidently take projects and take systems to production. So that's what we do regarding the foundation, and that's what we'll keep doing for you. And now the next question is, okay, how do you make it easier for you to build on top of it? And there's, if you look at kind of the overall architecture of what we have, so we talked about the libraries. So we have Spark NLP and NLU, which are open source. We have Healthcare NLP and Spark OCR, which are commercial. We have the Models Hub and Learning Hub, which are just free community resources. And then we have a bunch of tools on top of it. So we have integrations. We have the Annotation Lab and the NLP Server. And this is basically kind of the tightly integrated tool set that we provide and integrate and connect for you. And the first question that people ask, okay, this is nice, but like, how do I run this, or where can I run this? And that's also we've done a lot of work so that the answer can really be wherever you want. And this slide shows not all the integrations we have, but these are all the integrations where we've actually written custom code, done specific optimizations, or tested or documented specifically how to make that integration work. So if you want to know where you can run Spark NLP, you can run it on your own machine, on Jupyter or PyCharm or Anaconda, or on a Google Column notebook, or on a Kaggle notebook, or within a SageMaker notebook, or within a Databricks notebook, or within a Google Cloud notebook. And if you do need to scale it, which you don't have to, but if you do, you can do it on EMR, you can do it on Databricks, you can do it on Cloud Data Prop, you can do it on a Kubernetes cluster, you can do it on Cloudera. Really, our goal is to make sure we support each and every cloud or on-prem or kind of analytics provider that enables you to run data science workloads. If you need MLOps integration, we have coded integration with MLflow, with Comet, with SynapseNL, all of them kind of documented, tested, and published. So our goal is to make sure that we are not yet another thing you need to fit into your architecture, but we have done the work so that whatever your enterprise architecture is, your data science platform, your MLOps, your kind of go-to production system is, will be able to integrate very quickly without impacting any of the security, privacy, scaling, monitoring, or operational tools that you've already put in place. One thing that we do that seems to garner extremely high traction and interest from the industry now is specifically the Annotation Lab. We've made the Annotation Lab free 6 months ago, and we've seen kind of great uptake and great interest. And really, our main problem has been convincing people that it's actually free and actually as full-featured as we made it to be. But that really was our goal. Our goal is to come and say, look, we think it's unreasonable that people have to pay kind of per document or per annotator, or that people have to build their own because they're kind of data and privacy issues and they cannot share things externally. And basically, we've seen too many teams building their own annotation tool or going with something custom, and we just decided we're going to have something that is free and enterprise grade, and that's that. So this is now 3 years in production. In its 33rd version, we're announcing the big 3.0 version this week, and of course, widely developed and supported. When we say free, we mean free, unlimited everything, so unlimited user, documents, models, projects, workflows. We also mean that you share nothing with us, right? Because if it's free, but you have to share data with me, as you know, this does not mean free at all. So this is something that you can run within a high security air gap environment within your own infrastructure with zero sharing. This is something that we've published just to show some of the features that are available for free. Because basically what we've done, we look at all the other tools, we look at all the kind of upsell and team and enterprise offerings. All the features are there, but basically we've implemented them and we have made them free. So if you're looking at what can you annotate, you can annotate, of course, text, but also images, video, audio, combinations of them, web pages, and so forth. There is full support for projects and teams, so you can define projects, you can assign people to projects, you can have custom workflows, you can have quality assurance workflows, you have dashboards around productivity and inter-annotator agreements, you can do assignments and change them, and have kind of different task filters and tags that you can apply to tasks. So all of this functionality is there and heavily used, and I say with projects with really tens of thousands of documents, tens of annotators working in parallel. If you're looking at the AI-assisted labeling, really you have everything from automated pre-annotations, automated model training, transfer learning, right? So starting with a model and really just changing the last few layers, active learning. You can mix models and rules, right? So if you want to do programmatic labeling, there's a models hub and a rules hub. You can publish models, right? You can share them across your team. You can publish them as APIs, and you can do the same with rules, right? You can share and reuse and search them and so forth. All of that is there. And most important in terms of security and privacy, also everything is free. Multi-factor authentication, single sign-on, obviously encryption, full versioning, a full audit trail, access-based, role-based access control, and the ability to define roles, and the ability to audit and see logs. All of that is free out of the box. So the goal was really to provide something to the community in the industry that people just start using. And there's no catch. People do ask, okay, how do you make money of this, overall? And what we say, well, there are two cases where you may want to license your software. So either Spark NLP or healthcare, Spark OCR or Healthcare NLP. So if you want to have capabilities like directly annotating PDF documents, and you can annotate either text or you can annotate objects, like if you're looking for signature or brands, and you want to do actually active learning and tuning on images on computer vision or multimodal computer vision and NLP for document understanding. For that, you will need the Spark OCR key, which you can load into the free software. And then all of those features are there, and those are features that likely, as you can see, mostly do not exist at all in other products. The other thing, if you really want to do transfer learning from our, one of the 600 or several of the 600 pre-trained healthcare models, right, or embeddings, or for relation extraction, entity recognition, entity linking, identification, then also the tool is free, but you can load the Healthcare NLP key, and then you have access to all of these models within the product, all within like a really nice no-code environment. So we are definitely seeing medical doctors just starting for models, loading documents, just training new models for new use cases or tuning models, really with no data scientists being involved. And we definitely see this kind of no-code solutions as where NLP and computer vision industries will go. The last thing that I want to share, that's another really kind of new thing that we provide to help you build faster, get to production faster, are Turnkey Solutions. And the goal is to come and say, okay, we have the libraries, we have the tools, but how about just out of the box, basically applications? And we're starting to do that. And for example, one of the popular ones is question answering, because if you've heard the keynote around the Healthcare AI survey, as we know, one of the biggest problems in just healthcare data integration has always been. And what people really want is they want to send us everything that they have, whether it's unstructured medical notes or FHIR or some claims or structured data or maybe some images. Basically, they want to send us all the junk, right? All the really low quality, messy data that we have about each patient, and have some magical AI that sits in the background, can read the structured data, can read the unstructured notes, maybe even the images, FHIR, claims, CCDA, whatever may be the case. Link a view of the patient over time. Okay, extract all the relevant facts, enrich them, and build a knowledge graph, so that you can actually answer questions, right? Answer clinically relevant questions, right? So which, CAD patients had a CT scan in the last 6 months and are now on isosorbide 30 milligram or higher, right? So you have these questions that mix diagnosis, tests, and medications. There's temporal aspects, the kind of Boolean operators. And I just want to ask this in natural language question and just get an answer about a patient or a cohort of patients. So the good news is we've done this. This actually exists as a solution that we offer. We can read really the raw noisy data. We can understand both structured and unstructured patient information. We can do this including a kind of data integration pipeline if you need us to read data regularly. And then we can find and really return nice tables to you with patient cohorts, where you can ask questions that really combine test, procedures, symptoms, diagnosis, test, demographics, right, within a timeline, and just see those results immediately, either within a UI like this or via some kind of API. And you can see here, just within the app, some of the categories of queries that are available out of the box, so that's there. Another type of question answering that's super popular, especially with pharmaceutical companies, is biomedical question answering. And here what we are doing, we're not analyzing clinical data, we're analyzing biomedical data, for example, PubMed, so all of the medical research papers, clinical trial so clinical trials, inclusion and exclusion criteria, which are free text, patents, grants, or just medical terminologies and ontologies we want to combine. And the request is the same. Can you please automatically read them every day, summarize them in whatever a knowledge graph is, and then really be able to answer questions so that as medical knowledge gets updated, right, new research gets updated and new products come to the market, new patents get approved, I can just ask natural language questions about genes, about drugs, about proteins, about biomedical mechanisms, and just get straight answers. Of course, with the reference to the paper, right? So I can dig further on or have the explainability in place. So that is available as well with a solution we build that takes Spark NLP for healthcare, has a data ingestion and data update pipeline, builds a biomedical knowledge graph, and then is able to answer questions, extract keywords, summarize, and also provides different set of visualizations, really to be able to find trends. So that's question answering, just one of the solutions that are available. You can see here some of the other ones that we currently offer. So if you're interested in NLP, but really what you want to do is the identification, or you really just trying to build a patient registry, or do real-world data curation for an oncology project, we can probably help you with the turnkey solutions. It will save you probably another at least year in terms of going to market. So if there's interest there, you can look at the website, or really just contact me, contact us, and see if we can help you. So thank you. That's what I wanted to cover. And really, just as the last thing, I would like to thank you, thank the community, thank the industry for the trust you put in us. You have my personal promise. We will keep building, we will keep improving, we will keep you the state of the art, we will keep advancing responsible AI, we'll keep serving the community the way we have, so that all of us together can help the healthcare AI industry move forward. Thank you.